Hi, this is Josh Daniels, former county clerk and county auditor in Utah County. Here with Utah Ranked Choice Voting to record a tutorial on how to use Ranked Choice Tabulator or RCTab as a way to speed up the process of determining the winner in a ranked choice contest. First, we're going to start by downloading the RCTab utility. In order to do that, we're going to go to the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center, rcvresources.org. We're going to find in their resources here, in their tools, RCTab. RCTab is a free open source utility that helps you to automate the process of running an instant runoff election and determining the winner using instant runoff tabulation methods, which there are a few different options, and I'll explain the option that is used in Utah for municipal elections. So after you go to the Resource Center, you're going to go to Download RCTab here, and you're going to get to the GitHub repository where the source files for the program are located. Currently, there's a development option that's being finalized, which you can test or use if you'd like. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and we're going to find the last final version, version 1.3.1. And we're going to download a Windows version of that right here, the Windows zip file. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Notice that it started to download. And then once that's downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and find where it is saved, and I'm going to open it. So in my case, I've actually already downloaded it. And so, once I've got my file here, I'm going to go to bin, and I'm going to scroll down and find the Windows batch file titled RCV, Windows batch file. And what that's going to do is that's going to actually bring up RCTabulator. So here's the utility. Now it's running and open. And the first step is going to be giving the contest a name. So the situation I'm going to be using is a Utah municipal or city election in which multiple at-large council members are being elected, whether that's 2 or 3. What we call that is sequential instant runoff voting or sequential RCV. What that means is that you're going to elect by majority a council member in sequence, one after another, until all council members have been elected, whether that's 2 or 3. We'll use a 3 example where 3 city council members are going to be elected. We're going to go ahead and give this contest a name. We're going to call it a city in Utah. We'll just call it Utah City. The contest date, we're dealing with November 21st. The contest jurisdiction, we're going to call it, it's just a city in Utah, Utah City Council. The office, City Council. The rules description, this doesn't matter a lot, but over here are explanations for everything. So here, rules description option. What description would help you to remember? So we're just going to call this sequential city council. Okay. Now we're going to upload the cast vote record or CVR file. In this scenario for Utah, we're going to be using an ES&S style file. The pathway of this file, I'm going to find it here. It's Utah example. Okay, so I actually have that file open right here. So what the utility is asking is it's asking in which column is the first vote. In our case, it's column 2 because column 1 is kind of an index column. And the first row in which there's a vote is also row 2. There's an ID column. There's no precinct column, so we'll leave that blank. Anytime there's an overvote or an undervote, then it's denoted with the word undervote and overvote. So those labels here are correct. Okay, so now that we've uploaded the file and we've given it information about the first vote column, the first vote, the first vote row, the ID column. If there was a precinct column, we could denote that. We're going to hit add. Okay, so if you see down here, we've now added that file. Now, when we determine which candidates are in the race, I'm going to actually go to my file here, and I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to find a vote like row 2 where every name has been ranked in this scenario. And I'm going to copy the syntax from each cell so that I've got the exact correct syntax and spelling and spacing and characters as the candidate names from the cast vote record. Okay, I've added my 5 candidates. I can go to my next stage of the process, which is the winning rules. In this case, the winner election mode is a multi-pass instant runoff vote, multi-pass IRV, also sometimes known as sequential. What that means is we're going to pass over the data multiple times, running an instant runoff election to determine who the majority winner is for each of the 3 city council districts at large, and we're going to do that in a sequential manner. The number of winners in this scenario, we're going to use 3. Minimum vote threshold doesn't apply in this case. We're not going to use batch elimination. We're not going to continue until 2 candidates remain. We're going to use a stop and ask tiebreak method. That means if there's a tiebreak in any round of voting, the system will stop and ask you to flip a coin and determine which person wins, which is the legal method for official Utah elections. And there's no percentage threshold. And so those are all the settings there. We're going to go to voter error rules. In the case of Utah, when there's an overvote, when you voted for the same person twice, we're going to exhaust immediately. How many consecutive skipped ranks are allowed? You can skip 1 rank, but you can't skip 2. We're not going to worry about exhausting multiple ranks for the same candidate. We're not going to exhaust the ballot or cease to count the ballot. For Utah rules, we're going to exhaust immediately on an overvote. And we're only going to allow 1 consecutive skipped rank. Okay, now we're ready to save our configuration. We're going to go to File and Save. We're going to save our configuration here. I'm going to call this Test, make a new folder, call this Video Test. I'm going to call this file vidtest1. That's my configuration file. My output, I'm going to place my output in the video test. I'm going to call this test output. Select that folder. I'm not going to tabulate by precinct. I don't need to generate a common data format JSON file. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and save again. Save my configuration file as vidtest1. Replace it. Okay. Now, first step is done, which is saving the configuration file. The next step under tabulation is to validate the data. If you look down here in the log, validating contest config, contest configuration validation successful. That means everything should work for the tabulation. So I'm going to go ahead and hit tabulate. And here, the log is creating the results. Everything is finished, and that's it. We're ready to go. We don't need to convert this file. We've validated, we've tabulated, we've saved the configuration file, and now we're going to move on to reporting the results. In order to report the results, we're going to pull up the Ranked Choice Voting Visualizer tool. We're going to create a visualization. We're going to select a file. In this scenario, with our test, your files are going to look like this. You're going to have 1, 2, and 3 files if you had 3 candidates. In this scenario, we're going to use summary 1. Now, one thing to know is that you can actually open that file. Let me show you an example of how this works. So you can actually open this JSON file in a text editor. Now, in the case of a city council race, the contest, Utah City Council, you might want to say something like unofficial results because it's election night. So unofficial election night results. You might want to say that. You might want to say Utah City Council seat 1 if this was the first seat on the council. You can directly edit that file and then go ahead and save it. And then when it comes to uploading, if you choose the correct file, in RCVis, your data options for this, candidate was elected. You're going to want to change that to candidate is in the lead for unofficial results. Until the final results, when they are elected, you want to say that they're in the lead. The results are not certified. Don't check that box. Don't hide the winner because the results are not preliminary. They are, but they're not. The last thing that you want to do is select this. Is this a preferential block voting election? Yes, it is. So if you click that, it'll give additional information in the FAQs. I'm going to upload that to RCVis. Here we go. Utah City Council. Here's the part that I edited, seat 1, unofficial election night results. Here we see the results, and you can see round by round results. John Pink comes in last. Ken Stokes carries on after John is eliminated. Ken is eliminated. Hugh carries on. Eventually, it comes down to Doug and Sue, and Doug wins with 60% of the vote. So that's from beginning to end how to use RCTab to tabulate results for 2 or 3 or multiple seats in a municipal election, as in the Utah method using sequential or multi-pass instant runoff voting, IRV. What you can do is upload these results to RCVis multiple times. You could upload seat 1, and then you could edit seat 2 and seat 3 and name them seat 2 and seat 3, and then you can upload these visualization results, and then you can just simply post that link to a website to share publicly the results of your ranked choice contest. So end to end, that's how you use RCTab to do sequential or multi-pass instant runoff voting, which is a common method in Utah where you have multiple city council members at large that are running for 2 or 3 seats in a given election year.